when I was 31, when I was dealing with $100,000 in debt, I didn't even know the way out. The only thing that I was thinking is, what am I going to do? How am I going to even get myself out of that? I couldn't even find a way out. And it was really stressful. And I was crying and I was getting into that emotional deep hole. And through that, I sort of allow myself to go through this emotion for a while. And then all of a sudden, I just realized that, okay, there's no way that I will be able to resolve the problem if I continue having this kind of emotional state. So what I did is I gave myself a cup of tea and then starting to think about the strategy. Write down all the debt that I have and also all the credits, all the details I have, including the income and expenses I have, and then starting to think about the strategy itself. And with that, because I activated my executing brain, and all of a sudden, everything seems to be so clear. And that was a reason why within 18 months, I will be able to pay off all the debt that I have and also accumulate another 30,000 in cash. Now, the reason I mentioned about that is people, a lot of my audience and or also my clients are drawn into this story because they also have their own debt to pay off. And when we are looking at the debt management and also managing their finance or their cash flow, lots of times they were just saying that I don't really know why I come up with so much debt with credit card. And the more stress they have, the more credit card usage they have. If I'm going to get so much pain, the best way for me to do is actually getting what you said as a retail therapy, going to buy a pair of shoes, buying myself a slice of cake, or doing something with my credit card. Let the problems to leave behind to me, and then so that I will deal with that later on. So I guess that is exactly what you just said about separate the pain and also the pleasure with a credit card itself. But we are still not dealing with the emotion itself.
Yes. And so we are delaying the pain. And then the pain is compounded because typically when the bill comes, we don't have the money to pay. So we end up paying in installments at very, very heavy interest. Great for the bank, but not for us.
Yeah, definitely. So what can we do?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things regarding the credit card components. There's actually a very simple exercise, which is we can bring the pain and pleasure together. And how we actually equilibrate our emotions is about seeing both sides. I like to use the metaphor of yin and yang, as you're aware. So the yin and yang is everything in life has two sides, the white and the black. We can say the white may be the part that we like and the black the one we don't like. So life has both sides, and both sides has benefits and drawbacks. In the little white part of the yin and yang, there's a little black dot, and in the black has a little white dot. It's just saying that everything in life has two sides. And emotions is because we only see one side. We are conscious of one side and unconscious of the other. One of very simple way of balance your emotion is anytime you're feeling emotional and knowing the principle that both sides are there, and that when we are able to see both sides, then we get from our emotional brain to our executive brain, the executing brain, like what you did, Winnie. First, you were stressed about your debt, but then you're able to activate, to come back to your rational executive brain, and then you start putting all the planning, the strategies. Okay. It's about equilibrating. So the number one question, no matter if you know what the experience, a very powerful question is why? Because the why bring us to a bigger picture. Not the why, we start seeing all the different possibilities, connection. Why did this experience or did this event happen for me? Because typically when we ask the why question, well, but why did this happen to me? But when we say, why is it happened to me? We are being the victim, we are blaming, and all we find are the disempowering answers. But when we ask the question, why is this happening for me? then our subconscious mind automatically is going to look for, how is this happening for me? How is this empowering me? How is helping me to grow to my next level? How is it helping me on my journey, on my path in this life? So it's a very simple, powerful, I'm not saying it's easy. It's like a muscle. It's something that you developed. And the more you ask the question and the more you start coming up with the answers, the stronger the muscle will become.